of fate.
This is the way. Truth is, I am Iron Man.
Tells me when you'll remember this.
Hello, critics, non-critics, and friends. Welcome to the Film Optix podcast, where we take a glance into blockbusters, indie films, and everything in between. I'm your host, Christian, and as always, I'm joined by my partner in film, Devin, and today we're here to give our reactions to episodes 1 and 2 of the Acolyte A Star Wars series. But before we begin today's episode, you can listen to our podcast on podcast platforms around the internet. That includes Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, and more. And if you are a new or seasoned listener to the show, we would love to hear from you guys. Follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and Threads at Film Optix. That is Optix with an X. Or you can email us at filmoptix@gmail.com for any movie-related questions. Devin, what's going on? How's your week been? How was your weekend? Feels like we haven't recorded in a while, but it's been crazy. I have a bit of a story to tell because you went to go see, Violent in Nature, I believe is what it was called.
In a Violent Nature, yes.
In a Violent Nature. So, well, I'll go second, but first, how you been, buddy? It feels like it's been forever since we've recorded. In reality, it's only been like maybe a week and a half.
Yeah, looks like about 11 days since the last one. It's definitely a while. We kind of took the week off last week because of the story you're about to tell.
Yeah. So I was ready to go see, it's called Violent in Nature.
In a Violent Nature.
In a Violent Nature. So I had my ticket ready to go for In a Violent Nature, and it was supposed to be 7:00 on, I think it was a Wednesday. And I was like, yeah, okay. So like I purchased it. I was all good to go. Hopped in my car, drove to the theater, walked up to the booth. I was like, yo, I'm here for this movie. He looks down at my ticket and he's like, bro, you're in the wrong theater. And I was like, what are you talking about? And then I booked it for a theater on the other side of town.
Tisk tisk.
I just gave up at that point. I was like, I know it's only 7 and it's like previews are starting, but I did not feel like rushing to go see this movie. Not that I didn't want to see it. It's just that during that time, it was like 7:00 here in town. It's like the height of...
Was it the Wednesday showing? That's the one I went to, and there was only about 10 minutes of previews for that one.
Oh, see, I don't know if I would have made it, but it's like rush hour here in Music City, man, is insane. And I was like, I mean, it might have been doable, but I would have had to like booked it, and it just didn't happen. So I missed the movie. I just took the L. I still haven't seen it. I hear it's great. I want to go see it. Hopefully I will.
One of the best kills we've had in a long time in that movie.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Wow. Okay. That gets me a little excited. I'm very interested to see how that plays out. But how was your week outside of seeing A Violent Nature?
Pretty solid week. We're off to June. May is over. The packed June is beginning, starting with Acolyte. It's a nice alphabetical order so far.
That's true.
If only The Boys was next, then it would really be alphabetical.
I think is it House of the Dragon that's next, or is it The Bear?
Oh, yeah, I guess Bear would be next. It was actually alphabetical.
Yeah, well, I was saying like release order. Like I think it's House of the Dragon that's next. I think, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, it's like the 16th.
Yeah, the 16th or something like that. Yeah, so this is a busy June. A lot of TV. Up first, of course, we have the Acolyte. That is a Star Wars series. I'm very excited for all of June. It's just, I think maybe me missing that movie was like a blessing because there was so much going on. And I was like, we could have done it. We easily could have done it. But at the same time, I was kind of like gearing myself up for everything like TV in June. But there's also like a lot of movies coming out. So there's a lot of content coming out today, or not even today, just this week. But it's also, as of today, June 5th, 2024, starting tomorrow on June 6th is CMA Fest here in good old Music City. So, and this coming up weekend is Summer Games Fest. So it is a very busy week for the first week of June. There's a lot of things happening between video games, you got Music City, doing the CMA Fest. And now, of course, we're going to be talking about the first 2 episodes of The Acolyte. We are going to get into spoilers for the first 2 episodes. And we will be returning to the series once the series has finished to give a full series review. We just wanted to give our first 2 cents on this TV show. I've heard good things. I've seen the first 4 episodes, but we're only going to talk about the first 2 today. But if I mention episodes 3 and 4, those will be spoiler-free suggestions or like spoiler-free talking points. But for the first 2 episodes, we're going to be talking about spoilers. So without further delay, we'll be right back after this introduction to The Acolyte, a Star Wars series.
Who trained you? I have an unidentified Force user.
And we are back with our episodes 1 and 2 spoiler-free review of The Acolyte, a Star Wars series. That's not technically the full title. It's really just The Acolyte, but I've seen in some pieces of media they put Star Wars and then The Acolyte, but the show is just called The Acolyte. So we'll just refer to it as that from here on out. But the creator of the show is Leslie Headland, and stars Amanda Stenberg, Daphne Keane, and Jodie Turner-Smith, just to name a few. We have a very diverse cast here of characters. If you don't know who Amanda Stenberg is, she has been in a few different A24 movies. One that Devin loves, it's called Bodies, Bodies, Bodies. It's his favorite A24 movie of all time.
Oh, yeah.
And you may recognize Daphne Keane from her earlier role as Wolverine's daughter in Logan. But
X-23.
Yeah, X-23 is the name of her character. But you may also recognize her from the HBO series His Dark Materials, which is based off of a book series. Daphne Keane plays Lyra in that series. So if you know her from that as well, hats off to you, because it's a great freaking series. And of course, Jodie Turner-Smith, you know, it's Jodie Turner-Smith. So
I for one am shocked you didn't announce Amanda Stenberg as being from The Hunger Games.
Oh my God, dude. That's right. I totally forgot about that.
You can never forget about Rue.
She was Rue. That's right. She was Rue, R.I.P. She was Rue in The Hunger Games. And it's like, wow. I put 2 and 2 together like ages ago. Like I knew that was her, but it's like, it's been so long. I'm like, oh yeah, that is the same actress. So it's like, you know, I don't know.
And also The Amazing The Hate You Give.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, this show has a lot of star power, and it's been a long time coming. And the story is as follows for The Acolyte. It is a Star Wars series that takes viewers into a galaxy of shadowy secrets and emerging dark side powers in the final days of the High Republic era. In short, it basically follows a former Padawan reuniting with her Jedi Master to investigate a series of crimes, but discovers that they confront are more sinister than they've ever anticipated. Those are kind of like two different synopsises coming together, but I felt like they kind of complemented each other, just to give one's from like Rotten Tomatoes and one's from IMDb. So yeah, it's a new Star Wars series. This does not cover the Skywalker saga whatsoever. Thank God, because I want more Star Wars in my life, but I want there to be new and exciting journeys and new and exciting characters that we've never seen before that aren't related to the Skywalkers, or who isn't a Palpatine or a Kenobi or whoever it may be. So this is like in the before time of the Skywalker saga. So it's its own thing, which is great, but I'm going to pass the mic over to Devin so he can give his initial reactions to the first two episodes of The Acolyte.
Yeah, going into this one, didn't really know what to expect, to be honest. I actually don't even know what an Acolyte is, to be completely forthcoming. I don't know if you do, but
I can look it up.
I guess neither of us do. So coming into this just kind of blind for the most part. I know when that first trailer came out, it was definitely a pretty interesting trailer. It definitely got me interested in the show in general. I liked the cast overall. I think the diversity of the cast is definitely a strength, unlike what a lot of people on the internet want you to think. It's definitely something that should be applauded and not frowned upon, which it unfortunately has been with a lot of early review bombing before the show is even out, just because of the type of people in the cast, which is just unfortunate. But I think overall, as far as the actual show goes, the first two episodes have been a bit of a mixed bag for me. I just think there's a lot going on in the first two episodes, and it's just kind of like we're not really like fully focused into the story yet, just trying to figure out what's going on. There's a lot of different characters to keep up with as well, just kind of keep everything flowing and in check, and it's just kind of been hard to fully pick up what they're throwing down.
I would agree. As of someone who's actually seen the first 4 episodes, even from the first 2, like I think the first episode of this show is phenomenal. Like I thought it was a great introduction to these characters, like 1000%. I thought that it was. I was like, yeah, like this is, like you said, I didn't really know what to expect from this. I just knew that this was something separate from the Skywalker saga. It's doing its own thing. And that's what I loved about it, is that, you know, we were able to have a story where we're not focusing on the Skywalker saga. So the first episode is called Lost and Found, or Lost/Found. And then episode 2 is called Revenge/Justice. There's a few red herrings within these first 2 episodes, because within the first episode, the Jedi pursue a suspect after a shocking crime. That's like the basic synopsis of episode 1. That's what's showing on Disney Plus as I'm reading this right now. And then episode 2, which is titled Revenge/Justice, it's titled as An Assassin Strikes Again, but this time the Jedi are there to attempt capture. So they're doing this like red herring thing, especially within the first episode.
Within the first 10 minutes. Yeah.
Yes. So I will say within the first 10 minutes, that first scene was the same scene that they showed a sneak peek of during Star Wars Day after you watched The Phantom Menace in theaters. That was that scene. But I knew where they cut it off. I'm like, okay, that's good where they cut it off.
So they definitely didn't give anything away then, because that's literally the first scene.
No, they did not, which is great. They didn't give anything away, but I do agree. Even just speaking from the first 4 episodes, let alone the first 2, I would say episodes 1 and 3 are probably my favorite because they are the longest of the bunch so far. I believe the first episode is around 45 minutes. Revenge/Justice, aka episode 2, is around 35, 36. And then episode 3 it kind of mirrors the first episode where it's around that 45-ish minute mark. And then episode 4 is around 35, 36 minutes. So I actually agree. Like, I think it's a bit of a mixed bag. Not that it's a bad thing. It's just even that I'm 4 episodes in, and this is an 8-episode TV series. And I feel like there's so much they still haven't explained. They've explained some things already within, like, there's a lot of questions that are happening within episode 1 and 2 that I feel like a lot of them are answered in episode 3. So that's like as much as I can give you guys, but
it's definitely an interesting concept overall. Like, you can kind of see what they're going for the first 2 episodes, without giving away too much. Just kind of an interesting duality concept between a person and their other half. I guess you could say. I did look up what Acolyte actually is, and it's kind of like a religious term. It is someone who attends or assists a leader. So you can definitely see where they're going with that one as far as maybe a Sith Lord or something like that.
Yeah, and there's a lot of wheels turning. There's 2 big mysteries that are happening in this show so far. Again, me speaking from seeing 4 episodes versus 2. But yeah, there's 2 big mysteries. I can't say what they are, but I was like, oh, like, I thought this was like 10 episodes. It's like 8 episodes. And 8 episodes is not a bad number to have. But if you're going to go with 8 episodes, each episode needs to be at least 40 to 45 minutes. With Daphne Keane, she plays a character in this show. And like I mentioned before, she also was in the show His Dark Materials. And that show, like, each season, there's 3 seasons. Each season was 8 episodes. Actually, I think one season was 7 episodes because they had to cut one during COVID. But regardless, each season was around 8 episodes, but each episode was like 45 minutes to an hour. And I think this is just Disney running or barking up the same type of tree. They're running into the same issue where I like this show, but it doesn't feel serialized. It feels like a movie cut into 8 parts from what I've seen so far.
Yeah, the classic Disney Plus dilemma.
Yeah, and it's like, I don't know, like, because and with each of these episodes, like, each episode kind of like ends abruptly almost, at least from what I was feeling. And don't get me wrong, the action in this show is amazing. I love what they're setting up.
Yeah, I was going to mention the fight scenes so far in the first 2 are definitely been pretty impressive to watch. And there haven't even been a lot of lightsabers either. It's just kind of been like hand-to-hand, like force type battles. And it's definitely very interesting to see that.
And that's what I like about it so far is that, you know, we were able to see these force wielders, whether they're Sith, Jedi, or whatever else, they're using the force in their own unique way when it comes to adapting to their combat ability. And especially within the first scene, it's like, it really sets the tone for the show. I like what I've seen so far, like 1000%. But with it being 8 episodes and knowing that I've watched 4 of those 8 episodes, I'm curious to see how they're going to wrap this up and if it's even going to get a second season. I don't know if this is a limited series or not, but if it is getting a season 2, season 1's job is world building and, pretty much unraveling truths and mysteries that you find that, that are questioned during the beginning of during the season premiere and then going to the season finale. But you always want to have that cliffhangers and okay, X, Y, and Z, A, B, and C, but there's like a new situation that is kind of like come out of the woodwork after finding out like a big secret that's happening. So I feel like there's two secrets happening right now. And I like how they were able to give us 2 episodes, but with it being 8 episodes and knowing how or what the runtimes are, it's a little bit concerning, but I'm not trying to harp on it. Neither of us are really trying to harp on it because it's a really good show. It's unique. I think it's written very well. Amanda Stenberg does an amazing job. Lee Jung Jae, he plays a Jedi in this as well. Like Daphne King.
I was actually going to mention Lee Jung Jae because I'm sure everyone recognizes him from Squid Games. Obviously, that's where he broke out and does onto the scene for us American folks. And I actually found out today that he learned English just for this show, which is like really impressive. So shout out to him.
Oh, he's that original Jackie Chan there.
Yeah, he put in a lot of work for that, I'm guessing.
Oh yeah, and he's done a great job. He's easily one of my favorite characters, but I feel like he has a few secrets of his own, for sure. Just it's his character, itself. But yeah, like Amanda Stenberg, like she is phenomenal in the show. I'm not really listening to the internet noise or whatnot. Like I think this is a solid start so far, even just speaking from the first 2 episodes. But it's just my biggest concern is that like, hey, we're getting like a meaty episode and then we're getting like a semi-meaty episode. Then we're getting another meaty episode and then like a semi-meaty episode. So then that would lead 1, 2, 3, 4. I feel like, and again, I haven't seen the last 4 episodes because we've talked about this with the Disney Plus effect with TV shows where the penultimate episode is amazing. And then my fear is that the penultimate episode for this show is going to be amazing. And then the finale is going to fall flat a little bit. Like it's not going to be like a long finale. But then again, I don't know. Devin's only seen the first 2 episodes. I've seen the first 4. But from the first 2, I do agree with what you're saying, Devin. It's a bit of a mixed bag because, I mean, even knowing what I know, a lot of things still haven't been answered yet, if that makes sense. But by episode 3, you'll have more answers to certain things. But even then, I feel like they're not telling us everything because it is 8 episodes long. But we'll just have to wait and see. I hope that this does not suffer from the rest of the Disney Plus shows because I feel like they just keep getting these people who are making movies and like the people who are making movies are now making TV shows. And you can't, that's not a good transition, at least to me. But I like what I see so far, and I'm enjoying it. Like I really, really am. I think Daphne King's character is great. At least from what I've seen. I wish she can do a little bit more, but again, we still have, in retrospect, we still have 6 episodes left for people to watch. But Devin, what are your final thoughts and ratings of the Acolytes for the first 2 episodes? And of course, add in whatever final thoughts that you have for these last 2 episodes or anything else you wanted to add.
Yeah, overall, I think the show in general has a bit of an advantage here with all the June releases that we have. It has the advantage of coming out first, so it kind of gets the initial first audience viewing because people have been waiting to watch something new, and this is new and it's out. And like we mentioned, the next one doesn't come out. Next June show doesn't come out until around June 16th, so they can take advantage of that for a couple of weeks. But I'm just kind of curious to see if they can hold on to that audience throughout the runtime of the season, because the first 2 episodes, I wouldn't say that they like rope you in completely. Like it's not like an amazing, enticing, like you have to keep watching, because like I said, it's a bit of a mixed bag. There's a couple great fight scenes, a lot of interesting characters, but some of the storyline is just kind of foggy, and it's just kind of, you can't really tell exactly where they're going, and it's just kind of, some of it seems odd, like a bit of a evil twin type storyline, which seems like it's overdone, like overall in movies and TV. Seems like it's a bit of a cliche, but I don't know how they're going to handle it towards the end, so we'll see how that goes. But it is an interesting concept when you think about the duality of Sith and Jedi.
Yeah, and the duality between Sith and Jedi and other unknown forces that are out there as well. Again, I can't say too much in episode 3, but I think I think you might change your tune a little bit once you see episode 3, but I still think those issues that you just addressed are still there because you're right. It's not like it's a show that I'm enjoying. Like I watched like 2 episodes one day, then I watched episodes 3 and 4 the following day. It's not like a show where it's like, first episode ropes you in like Beef. Like Beef ropes you in on the first episode. The Last of Us first episode ropes you in. Even This Is
The
Us.
Boys, probably one of the
Boys.
biggest examples.
Yeah, The Boys is a great example. Even This Is Us, like I just actually started watching it for the first time. I just watched the first episode. I was like, okay, now I'm actually invested. But sometimes it takes about 3 episodes for people to kind of decide whether they're going to be in for the long haul. I'm hoping that episode 3 for The Acolyte changes your mind a little bit, but I will say the follow-up for episode 4, it's more on the shorter side, but again, we still in total we still have 6 more episodes for people to watch. So I'm curious to see how it's going to play out. It's no Andor so far, but I am enjoying it. I'm enjoying it so far, and I think this is probably the perfect show to start off this like TV land of June, like you said. But also, as you mentioned, is it going to be able to hold its audience? Because X-Men 97 was coming out around the same time as Shogun. And yeah, people were watching Shogun, but people were talking about X-Men 97.
Yeah, I actually just looked it up because I was curious. The Boys actually starts next Thursday, so I think that'll be the next one.
All right. Yeah. Well, yeah, that's going to be tough. But it's like, it's Star Wars, but The Boys is a great show. Like a lot of people are looking forward to that. But we'll just have to see if the fan base of Star Wars, the sane fan base of Star Wars, the normal side, not the toxic.
Yeah, totally normal.
Honestly, I mean, Star Wars is like has the worst fan base. I love Star Wars, but my gosh, terrible fans, and it makes it hard.
Star Wars and Spider-Man.
Yeah, it makes it hard for someone like Amanda Stenberg to step into this world, because I'm not sure if you saw, like, there was like not like an interview, but like Hayden Christensen had like sent her like a video like saying, hey, like welcome to the Star Wars family. And I was like, that's so cool. But it's like Star Wars fans are gross. Like, yep. It's terrible. Nobody hates Star Wars more than Star Wars fans. I will say I like this heck of a lot more than Obi-Wan so far, but there's a lot of parts of Obi-Wan that I did enjoy, mainly the Obi-Wan and Anakin situation. But hey, I feel like it's a good start, but we'll just have to wait and see for the rest of the series. Hopefully, I mean, I don't know if we're getting a second season or not, but they haven't really said. But overall, I'm enjoying it. I'm sure Devin is enjoying it to a point. But yeah, there's a bit of a mixed bag. Like, I do agree with you there. This is the ending of each of these episodes. It's cut really weird, and they kind of just end abruptly. And I'm like, oh, is that it? And maybe I need to go back and rewatch it. But at least from what I've seen so far, it's good, but it's not phenomenal. It's not great. It's good. It's a good show, but it's not it's not House of the Dragons. It's not The Boys. But again, we got 6 episodes left for people to watch. So with all that said, we are not going to be giving ratings for this. Of course, we are here really just talking about the first 2 episodes of the show. So we're going to be giving our final overview rating once we cover the show, the season in full. That's what we'll be getting our final ratings, I should say. But overall, I think it's good so far. But yeah, just along for the ride. But that does conclude today's episode. If you enjoy what you heard, make sure to subscribe to our podcast on your preferred podcast platform of choice, and make sure to follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Threads, all that social media garbage at Film Optix. That is Optix with an X. And don't forget to share an episode of our podcast with a fellow movie lover out there, whether it be your mother, your brother, or your significant other. Make sure to spread the love for the Film Optix podcast. And now let's take a sneak peek of what's coming up next on the show. So as Devin kindly mentioned earlier, next week starts The Boys season 4. So we'll be giving our first impressions on the first few episodes of that. They usually give us 2 to 3 episodes for the beginning of that season. And we might be covering The Bear as well, possibly House of the Dragon season 2. If you don't want to, Devin, it's totally fine. I'm just throwing it out there. I might just watch it for my own enjoyments, because it will take a little bit of less of a toll on me as we are covering, June's TV lands. And Devin, are you seeing Bad Boys this weekend? Possibly.
I'm seeing it in about an hour.
Oh, seeing it in about an hour. So that is another tentative. I think I'm going to be seeing it too, because we covered the last one.
It's good, and I've heard great things so far about this one.
I have too, shockingly. Someone said it was better than Fall Guy. I was like, whoa. We'll just have to wait and see there. But yeah, I've heard really great things about it altogether. So those are just a few things that are coming up next on the show that you guys can look forward to. As of new releases that are currently out, you can listen to our Furiosa Mad Max Saga review, our X-Men 97 Season 1 review, and our Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes review. Just a few things for you guys to listen to in the meantime. And of course, you can listen to our Fall Guys review, our Challenges review. We've got a lot of stuff up there. We're finally getting back into the TV spectrum. So, because during the beginning, I think X-Men 97 really kicked it off. Or no, Invincible Part 2. Part 2, Season 2. Oh gosh, I'm going to shut up now. So, with all that said, thank you all for listening. If you enjoy the show, please take a moment to leave us a 5-star rating and review on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. And make sure to stay connected with us by following us on Twitter, Instagram, and Threads, all that social media garbage for the latest updates. That was Devin, and I'm Christian, signing off. And remember, life is like a movie. So go out there and make it a blockbuster.
Peace.